Howdy out. Today is January 20th. We are up to 27 degrees, I think. Yesterday it was 9 and it was very chilly, and I managed to dump an entire bucket of water on my shoes. So that was not fun. But today, a little warmer. I do have a bit of a weird situation in this coop. I'm going to pan over. If you don't want to see any blood, look away. But I do have a rooster that didn't make it, so let me show you. So here he is here. He looks completely fine, right? He's just kind of beat up on the head. You can see a little bit of blood on the tips of his feathers. I mean, it looks like maybe just a fight with the other roosters. He's kind of frozen, so I don't know when this happened, but I mean, he doesn't look bad other than a potential fight. But the weird part is this, which I'll show you now if you also don't like to see blood. But if you look over here, you see all these little red dots? And if you look in the nesting box where I found him, if it wants to focus, I mean, look at that. It looks like it was a massacre in here. So the only thing I can think, he was sitting very peacefully in the nesting box, literally just like that, laying down. Didn't look like a struggle or anything, but there's just blood all over the place. So I think he's just maybe shaking his head. This is the next nesting box over. That first one was definitely the worst with all this blood in there, which is a little suspicious. That's just really weird. My best guess is potential fight with some of the other guys, and then he cowered down in there, and maybe because of the blood he was shaking his head, and that's why it looks so horrible. But he himself doesn't look like he got attacked by a wild animal. It's just, ugh, it doesn't look good in that nesting box. So very odd. I have checked the perimeter. Everything in this coop looks fine. So I'll keep an eye on the rest of the birds, but that's just very odd. So I'm guessing, I think it was a fight with probably one of the roosters in here. I really don't know, but very odd. So I've had 2 Anconas die, and they're both in this coop. One, the other roosters just decided to beat him up and kind of exiled him. He was doing fine, but I think he just kind of got depressed and died. And now this Ancona, so maybe they're just not hardy birds. I'm not sure, but it's kind of odd. So I'm gonna look him over a little better just to make sure he's actually okay, minus just a little blood on his face, but I didn't see anything glaringly obvious. So only the chickens in here know what happened. That Ancona rooster looks fine, so I'm gonna go with he got in a fight. He got a little beat up on the face, nothing substantial, and then he probably didn't want to huddle up with everyone else. Went in that nesting box. It got extremely cold last night. He probably froze because he didn't have any wounds big enough that would have killed him. And yesterday when I was doing chores, I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary, so it's just really odd. But anyways, I do have a little bit of frozen water today, getting back on chores now. One less than yesterday, which is good, but I still got to get some birds fed. As you can hear, the little chicks out here, they're hungry. These guys are getting big. Howdy out. Today is January 21st. We are finally above freezing. It feels like it's been forever. It's been pretty chilly. So today it's actually about 43 right now. I usually keep this room at 41. So since the heat's not kicking on, I'm going to go ahead and finish cleaning it up. Last week I didn't get a great start on it because it was actually quite nice outside. So I did more garden work than work up here. But considering I got to be starting some seeds here soon, I need to get this room in order. So there's a lot to do. I still have loofah all in here. So let's get to cleaning. I've cleared all the tables of loofah now. You can tell exactly where they were. This room is so dusty. You can tell exactly where the tub sat for the chicks. Lesson learned, I will not do chicks in the winter in this room again. I do have the fan on, the window wide open. It's a pretty breezy day, so I'm just trying to air it out. It's pretty dusty when I first turned that on. But this is gonna be gross when I start sweeping this up, but it's gonna feel really good to get done. Most of the loofahs that I have peeled have looked great and they're going to be really nice. I do want to try cutting them and actually turning them into sponges. You can use them just as they are, but I kind of want to get creative with it. But once again, it's always a time issue. So much I want to do, no time to do it all. I don't even know how to begin to clean up all this dust. I have my little vac here. I was just using a little wand. That's going to take forever. This is not a shop vac, obviously, so it's not going to like that. It's either that or I take a broom and whisk it back and forth and let the wind blow it. It's probably just going to blow it out there on all my other stuff, so we will see. It is coming along, you guys. A lot of the dust has been swept up to a little more manageable level. Still some loofah scraps, a random pile of dirt, but the tables feel a lot better. I haven't really done too much with this yet. I got the fan kind of cleaned off, but still a lot of dust in there and around that, but it feels a lot more manageable at this point. I've been cleaning that filter out on the sweeper pretty regularly because the dust is just so thick in here, but feels good to have a good handle on it. Still a lot more to do though. Howdy y'all, today is January 22nd. I'm sure everyone has heard about this winter storm that's coming. Actually, by the time this video is up, we're gonna be in the middle of that winter storm. But I do want to get out to the farm and do some prep work. Indiana, I don't think we're gonna get anything terrible, but I'm definitely expecting some snow and freezing cold temps. So I want to get some stuff done at the farm just to kind of prepare for that. So we'll head on out. First thing on the list is to get the generator hooked up and make sure I have full gas cans. Generator is all hooked up, thanks to my dad for coming out and helping with that. And next is working on chores. Everything has food, and I'm about to put in the last water here in this middle coop. And then I still have to grab eggs. But other than that, chores are done. Not a bad haul on eggs today. Got just a little over 4 dozen today. Let's mark that down. I've been grabbing eggs a couple times a day because I don't want them freezing overnight. So on the calendar here, you can see every Monday, I've been getting 10 bags of feed. Well, considering this storm is coming in Saturday to Sunday, depending on how much snow, ice, or how bad it gets, Monday could still be not great for traveling. Feed barn might not be open. So I'm gonna go ahead and run today and grab 10 bags of feed. So that way it'll last me till next Thursday. So no matter how bad that storm gets, the roads, things should be open, you know, through the week. And now is a great time to go to the feed barn because I cannot feel my toes. So they'll warm up a little bit. Before I go to the feed barn, I am going to make a quick stop here at Tractor Supply, pick up a few things. I did bust one of my summer waterers, so it'd be nice to get another one of those, maybe another heat lamp or two, because I know I've been through a few of those, so thought it'd be a little more crowded. Thankfully it's not. Now let's head to the feed barn. At Tractor Supply, I picked up another waterer because that one I broke. They actually didn't have heated waterers there, unless I probably would have got one of those, but it's fine. I needed a non-heated one for this summer anyway. I always like having one extra. So I'm good on that again. I also bought another 2-pack of heat bulbs and then one more lamp. So I know I went through a few of my lamps. Those bases just don't last very long, so hopefully I have enough. I would like to put one in each coop, just focusing on the roost because it is going to be so cold, and even if the power went out, the generator would be able to handle that. So that makes me feel good to have that. now we're heading to the feed barn, be there in just a couple minutes, and we'll pick up another week's worth of food. Well, they gotta get the old forklift out because mine's up top. Sometimes they have kind of odd and end stuff around over here. Don't see any heated waters though. Wonder if these would be any better. Don't know. Never bought a heat lamp from here. So I go through 500 pounds of feed every single week, which is a lot. Here come this spring and have another 100 birds coming. So I'll be in here pretty frequently. So that's why I'd really like to start looking at a grain bin. It's kind of the goal for 2026. So we're now loaded down with another 500 pounds of feed. I also grabbed a bag of bedding. Still got a bunch of egg cartons. The grocery store saved them for me. I don't usually recycle those plastic ones. I like the pulp ones, but since they saved them for me, I'll take them this go around. But let's head back to the farm. There's still a little bit I want to get done. As far as I want to close off one more window in that north coop just so there's not as much air blowing through. I want to get some extension cords laid out so that way I can plug in heat lamps probably tomorrow. Maybe today, we'll see. It's 4 o'clock right now. It's not too terribly late. It's going to be a heck of a lot warmer today than it is tomorrow. Right now it's 31 degrees. I think tomorrow the high is 9. So it's going to be pretty chilly. Might as well just get it done today. Always a great feeling to have 2 full feed bins plus plenty of extra bags. No one really knows what this storm's going to bring as far as snowfall. I've heard anywhere from 1 inch to 27 inches. Who knows? But I do know it's going to be cold. So I've been taking some extra plastic and I boarded up that door. They still have a window on the other side that's open. I'm gonna leave that open for ventilation. I have some more plastic that I grabbed here and I'm just going to button up this coop because the entire front is exposed and I don't want those chicks to get cold. I'll probably do a little on the back too, but still leave a little bit of room so we can get some airflow in there. But the other coops, the hoop coop over there is definitely my warmest coop. The other ones are just fine, so they're all buttoned up fine. Minus, you would think, you can't really see, but the hoop coop does have the door wide open as far as plastic goes, but once again, it's a very warm coop, just that design stays toasty, so I'm not worried about that for it. I do want to get a little bit more protection because wind chills are going to be somewhere in the -20s to -30s, and that is really cold. I'm running a little low on washers there, but I'll make that work to get the plastic up. I did also bring the grill in for any reason if the power's out, there's just no electricity available, or my well freezes up before I catch it. I'll at least be able to put one of my big buckets, the one I use for scalding chickens in the summer for the chicken slaughters. Put that on here. I can grab snow and ice and melt that down. I have a couple tanks of propane, so that way the chickens will at least have water. I'm also making sure every battery that I own is charged, as well as flashlights. That is going to give them a lot more protection. I was just able to make it work with the amount of washers and screws I had. I could have used some wood. Here I just folded it under and cranked it in with that. Did pop a hole to make sure that was down there good. Had to cut the door out, obviously, but that's definitely going to help them out in there. Have some wood on the back. There's a little gap, so a bit of blow through, but that'll be good. I'm working on heat lamps now. I only need 2 more coops, which are the 2 closest to the pig pen there. I'm out of extension cords, so the one on the barn that was doing the Christmas lights, I got to grab a ladder and get one of those off so that way I have enough so it'll reach those coops. just finished the last of the heat lamps. This is the new one. Good thing I bought one because I had to throw one away, and that was all I had. So that worked out perfect. I still have plenty of bulbs, didn't have to dig into the new ones, but I have all of them pointing onto the roofs there. I think the chickens are really gonna like that. Now there's still just a few more things I want to do, but at least everybody has a heat lamp. The chicks have too. I want to make sure the water's not going to freeze as much as possible because I don't like dealing with frozen water when it's already cold, but when there's a wind chill of up to -30, I really don't want to be messing with it. So I have this. My dad got this for me, I don't know, it was quite a while ago, but sometime this fall. I'm going to try it out. It's just a little belt that you wrap around the water and it keeps it from freezing. So I'm gonna use that. I also have some heated bases that you set the waters on. I'm gonna use that for the chicks. And then I already have 2 heated waters. So there's gonna be 2 that don't have heat on them. I mean, I have another base, but I kind of don't want to put the older chickens' water on the ground because they're more likely to knock it over. So I might just deal with 2 frozen waters. Okay, so this actually works for 5-gallon bucket, not my waters. So I had to kind of rig it a little bit, as you can see with that. It actually came with springs that fed through there, and it's getting stuck on my gloves there. But there was a spring there, and it would attach to, you know, one of these. So you could, if it was a large bucket, you could expand it, or if it's a normal size bucket, it would work fine. But for typical water, it does not work. So I cut the springs off and I used just some aluminum wire there and wrapped it around to hold it in place and looped it there. Also, I think it's just too cold. This isn't wanting to stick to the plastic. Don't know why. And also, I put it on upside down because it just makes more sense to have the plug going up. At least with my configuration. Maybe for others they'd like it pointing down, but for me it just works better going up. So we will see how this works. It does come with a wrap you can put around the outside of it. So we'll see if this works. The wrap does make it look nice here, but once again it's a little too small, so it just barely velcros on there. 6:25 in the evening and we still have some light. The days are definitely getting longer, but slowly.